single market, which is your idea, the biggest free trade zone in the world, it won't cost any jobs. Can you guarantee that?
I can't guarantee every person currently in work in their current job will keep their job, but I can say,
who's going to lose their job? Who's going to lose their job?
Well, the 73 members of the European Parliament will be losing their job. Our Europeans,
and let me quote, we send £350 million to Brussels every week. Let's fund the NHS instead. Which week was it that we sent £350 million to Brussels? Was it this week? Last week? Was it Christmas week? Easter week? Which week?
Every week we send actually more than £350 million to Brussels.
We send it. So hang on, so it comes out of a bank account in Britain and goes to Brussels. Does it literally leave the country?
Yes, because if you look at the Office of National Statistics report, they point out that we send more than £350 million there.
It doesn't leave the country.
Yes, we do. And then we get some of it back.
Doesn't leave the country.
We do get some of it back.
You know it doesn't leave the country. And you don't listen to me. UK stats authorities say the figure's misleading. The Treasury Select Committee, containing Brexiteers, says it's deeply problematic. One of your own backbench colleagues, a Conservative MP who's campaigning to leave as a respected doctor, refuses to hand out leaflets because he says you're treating the public as fools. We've gone into battle with who support you.
Well, one of the things about some of the leaders of foreign countries is that they would never accept.
Can you name a single?
They would never accept a curtailment of their sovereignty in the way that they are arguing that we should curtail our sovereignty.
Can you name a single one that backs your, it's complicated things. We look for expertise, we look for experts, we look for our allies. They've got our back, they've had our back, we've gone into battle with these people. Give me one.
Well, one of the problems is that...
You can't name one, can you?
Well, one of the things
I'll give you a half for Donald Trump. You're going to count for Donald Trump?
One of the things about Donald Trump, one of the things about all of these people is and I think that instead of succumbing to the pessimism of the Remain side, we should be optimistic and hopeful about our potential. And I think that whoever leads this country in the future, they will have more freedom to do what's right if we've left the European Union, and then they have control of all of the levers that can supercharge our country and make it the best country in the world in every regard.
Fascinating. I thought Michael Gove took what I would call a very Marxist approach to this, as in Groucho Marx, who used to say, here are my opinions, if you don't like them, I have others. I mean, it was extraordinary. There was no detail there, and I just think the British public deserve, on something as important as this, as such a big choice, some detail, but there was none there.
Well, he did say that the European Union, in his view, depresses employment, destroys jobs, hollows out communities, and is on the side of the elites, whereas he's on the side of the British people. If that's true, the British people should vote to leave, shouldn't they?
Well, if that's true, then give us some facts, because, and I thought Faisal put it rather well when he talked about post-truth kind of politics, to talk about one of those issues, say jobs are being lost. Well, show us how, Michael. Give the British people the detail they want.
He talked about his father's fishing business.
Well, it's like if I was going to buy something and the salesman was saying to me, don't read the fine print, don't show us the detail of it, you'd begin to wonder, and yet that's exactly what he did today. He said he couldn't guarantee that jobs wouldn't be lost, but couldn't set out what that would mean in practice. He couldn't stack up his figures on the 350 million point. He kept coming up with more and more things that he could spend money on, and I just think the British public aren't going to... He said all sorts of things.
Well, is that
he
true?
Couldn't stack
is that
up.
true? Is it wrong?
No, the British public get to vote for people who are part of making those decisions. We get influenced by being part of the European Union. All the laws that he's talking about.
Heading off in his...
he's making a speedy exit.
He's back.
He's making a speedy exit.
Well, all right.
What
Can you
matters to
pass
me,
the 5 president
I knew you were going to ask me that, and it's a bit like naming characters from the Game of Thrones, but you've got 5 of them. You've got Draghi, you've got Dusselbaum, you've got Tusk, you've got Juncker, and you've got the Commission President. The Commission President is Juncker, and you've got, the fish one, Schultz,
European Parliament.
That's it.
Well,
Schultz.
okay,
There we go.
That's not bad.
But you know what?
But are they unelected, though?
What matters to the people of Britain is, did they hear tonight convincing arguments that jobs wouldn't be at risk? No, they didn't. They heard the reverse. Did they hear convincing arguments that actually housing costs would go down? No, they didn't. They heard the reverse. Did they hear convincing arguments that our NHS would be safe? No, they didn't. They heard the reverse. Those are the kind of bread and butter issues. If you really want to talk about elites and the public are worried about their jobs. They're worried about their families. Actually, what Michael Gove did say, he talked about hope. Well, what he means by hope is wishful thinking, and I think the British public deserve better.
Okay, so he didn't really give any answers, did he, on whether house prices would go up or down, whether jobs would be lost or not? People might be a bit puzzled by that.
Well, actually, I think what Michael did tonight incredibly strongly is that he gave a very optimistic view of what it would be like to vote leave. And that's a complete contrast to the pessimistic projection of fear that we've seen throughout this campaign. And he was very clear today, I thought, about how Britain would be stronger, more safer, more secure in terms of our prosperity as well, and our ability to stand on our own 2 feet if we vote to leave.
It's all very well being optimistic, but if you can't say if there are going to be more jobs or indeed what's going to happen to house prices, you're really, on a wing and a prayer, aren't you?
Well, actually, I don't think anybody can forecast exactly what's going to happen to jobs, employment, and also house prices in the future. Name me someone, Adam, that is actually going to, forecast that and say with a degree of certainty.
Well, we do know that people lay down growth rates and estimates on growth rates.
Well, of course, and that's the point. They're estimates.
Well, yeah, but you've got one side of
facts.
the argument who are prepared to give figures as to what they think is going to happen, and then we've got your side of the argument who won't.
But let's not forget, those who are giving projections and estimates have also got their forecast projections and estimates wrong in the past.
Yeah, but
that includes, obviously, the OECD, the IMF,
yeah, but they've
and
also
others.
got things broadly right if you actually look at their record.
Well, not when it comes to Europe, not when it comes to the IRM, not when it comes to the Eurozone, not when it comes to our membership of whether or not we should join the Euro.
Yeah.
These are organisations that have consistently said we should join, and they're consistently wrong.
Yeah, but let's just concentrate on all this. I mean, it is a bit like that gentleman said in the audience, that you are beckoning people over the top, and you don't know what's going to happen to them.
Well, actually, I disagree with that profoundly. When it comes to when it comes to being over the top, I would say the voice of pessimism, which is coming from
it may be optimistic to say, "Come on, lads, you'll be all right. You go over the top, and you're shot down by the machine guns."
So we are saying, of course, and rightly so, that we are a proud country. We can stand on our own 2 feet. We do not need
everyone agrees
the
on that.
unelected
I mean,
elites in Brussels to dictate
that doesn't belong
us.
to the Leave campaign. What people are voting about is the future, and they want to know what's going to happen.
And we are saying that we can have a brighter economic
Did Michael
future.
Gove tell us tonight what's going to happen in the future?
Well, I think he did, on the basis that he said we would have the freedom to set up our own trade deals, we would have the freedom, obviously, through creating a stronger economy by having people that were from outside of the European Union, the brightest and the best, that would come to the United Kingdom to help grow our economy, be employed in our economy, and actually, fulfill vacancies in the labour market that are currently not being filled, but also importantly, invest in our long-term economic growth. And we need people from outside of the European Union to help us do that.
Are you sad that he ruled himself out of being a potential party leader?
Well, I don't think this is about a leadership contest at all. That is not the discussion that we're having in this referendum campaign. As Michael has said this evening, this referendum is once in a lifetime vote, and it is about the future of our country.
I have to say, a lot of people were tweeting saying, is he going to answer a single question? But you're not answering a single question either. It was in the debate. We're here to discuss the debate. He said, rule me out when it comes to party leadership.
He was very clear about that.
Yeah, and I'm asking you what you think of that.
Well, that's Michael's choice. I'm not here.
disappointed?
Well, I'm not here to speculate on leadership candidates at all. Quite frankly, a leadership election will come in due course.
Well, you are, because, you're campaigning for a side which will destroy David Cameron if you win.
Not at all, Adam. That is simply not the case at all. David Cameron has given
before the British nation, says vote this way, he's defeated. He's going to survive, is he?
The referendum is a manifesto commitment that David Cameron has delivered for the country. That is a manifesto commitment we all campaigned on as well. And yes, we are on opposing sides on this debate, and that is it. We are having a full and passionate debate during this referendum campaign. That is the right thing to do.
Right.
And obviously I'm campaigning with Michael and others to vote to leave the European Union.
Right, marks out of 10 for each of them?
Well, I'm not going to mark anybody. I think Michael gave a very optimistic performance in terms of.
David Cameron?
Well, Michael gave a very strong performance this evening and put a very strong case as to why we should vote to leave the European Union. He was clear in terms of taking back control of our money, spending money on our priorities, our sovereignty.
Do you agree that the majority of people are suffering as a result of EU membership?
Well, actually, when you look at membership of the European Union, not just from the United Kingdom.
He's talking about this country. He's talking about this country. Do you agree, when we've got record high unemployment, the government keeps on telling us about low inflation, growth higher than the rest of Europe, that in our present state, in the European Union, the majority of people are suffering. That's what Michael
Well, I
Gove,
think
the
let's be
leader
clear.
of the
Let's
Leave
be
campaign,
very
said
clear,
tonight.
Adam, that our membership of the European Union is actually not helping us when it comes to long-term economic
The word he
security and
used was suffering.
prosperity.
He said destroying jobs,
Well, I would argue
depressing
what the European
employment,
Union is.
hollowing
European has been
hollowing out communities.
Specifically when it comes to the European Union and other EU member states, yes, absolutely.
No, but
we
he
are
was
seeing
talking- he
our
was talking
hollowing
about
out.
here. He was talking
Well,
about
I'm
Britain.
putting in this in the context of the European Union.
So you don't agree
look at
with it?
Greece, look at Italy, look at Portugal,
No,
look
but
at what has happened
he was talking
there.
about here.
The European Union is not helping the long-term prosperity and our economic security.
The word he used was people in this country, the majority of people, are suffering from EU membership.
Well, EU
Do
membership
you
is
agree
hollowing
with
out
that?
wages in this country. It has been depressing wages, as we know, and that is not good for the British people.